Well, single women now buy homes at double the rate of single men nationwide, marking a major shift in the housing market and financial independence for women across the country. Miriam Niesmeyer talks with a 26-year-old first-time homeowner and a realtor about the growing trend and why more women now invest in themselves through ownership.
When talking with a first-time homebuyer Tuesday, she tells me buying a house means freedom, independence, and building wealth for herself instead of someone else. At 26 years old, Alyssa Stamper unlocks the door to her first home in Machesney Park.
It felt pretty good doing it on my own.
Stamper joins a growing number of women entering the housing market independently.
I kind of got out of a long-term relationship and I didn't feel like moving into my parents' house, and I also did not want to rent and just waste my money.
According to the National Association of Realtors, single women make up around 25% of first-time home buyers nationwide, double the share of single men. Data also shows those buyers report higher median income than men in the same category.
A lot of women that I'm talking to are getting divorced or getting out of relationships, and they don't want to have that dependence on somebody else, so they are purchasing on their own.
Christina Campbell, who has worked in real estate for 20 years with Key Realty, says she's noticed the trend increase.
Women are confidently and independently, buying homes right now. They're just waiting. Some women are waiting to marry later, so they're not waiting to have somebody else to be able to purchase a home.
In 1974, Congress passed the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. Before then, women could not apply for mortgages without a male cosigner.
Just seeing, the evolution of women and just advancing in careers and being able to buy a home on their own and being independent, it is, it's very empowering.
Stamper says she knew from a young age she wanted to be financially responsible.
And I just figured, why not invest in myself instead of investing in someone else?
Stamper says she searched for a home for about 4 to 5 months before purchasing her starter home in April. Her advice to other young women thinking about buying their first home: make sure to budget correctly and be financially stable.
According to the National Association of Realtors, the first-time home buyer now reaches 40 years old.